Sorry this is late. I fucked up today, and as my computer was booting up...
We should just start like this.
I farted, and Nathan can't handle it. Sorry. As my computer was booting up, I turned it off, which is a no-no, so I lost all my data on there, and I've basically just been reinstalling Mac OS X all morning. And yeah, like we had a timeline on this, now we're gonna have to kind of stretch it, so I'm a dumbass.
Vlogsworth! Welcome to Vlogsworth, the official vlog of Sophomore Effort Productions. I'm Nathan Elliott.
And I'm Kyle McCauley.
We are Sophomore Effort Productions. We go see shitty movies because you need to know about them, and we're here to provide the info for them. So, Dragonball Evolution.
Alright, let me first start this off by saying this is a anime that was a big part of both of our childhoods.
Very much so.
Really the only anime I ever really watched, and
one of the very few that I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And actually enjoyed.
So, you know, I'm a big part of our childhood, and I mean, I gotta say, like, you know, when the movie was releasing, we kind of knew it was gonna suck. There was no two ways around it. It was gonna be bad.
Yeah.
But
yeah, from the very first trailer that I saw, I was like, oh god.
The trailer was
the trailer was almost as bad as the movie itself.
Yeah. So, but we decided that the best thing to do was to actually see it, and so I mean, we could at least talk bad about it, say how much it sucked.
We saw it, so you don't have to see it.
Exactly.
We bit that bullet.
So today, in a very special episode of Vlogsworth,
Very special.
We're going to review Dragon Ball Evolution, or DBE, as they wanted to call it. So,
Who was responsible for this anyway? Like, what was the company? Do you remember? Was it 20th Century Fox?
Well, yeah, 20th Century Fox, but that was I mean, they just distributed. It was like Last Star Child or something like that. It was like the actual.
Was the director?
James Wong.
James Wong was the director. Thank you, James Wong.
Yeah, thanks
for raping my childhood.
For fucking it up.
Appreciate that, buddy.
Like, really, you could have. I don't know what you could have done, honestly. You should have never made a live-action Dragon Ball movie. You can't.
I've said it like billions of times, but like I think a live-action Dragon Ball could have worked if they'd done it correctly. Like, you know, they could have done the if they'd gone with the way they did Beowulf, like had, you know, kind of a live-action actors in an animated movie. That would have been different.
Yeah, but see, that wouldn't be like live action. Like, I mean, like, you got live-action actors, right. But you're not held to, you know, reality and everything like that.
Yeah, but
so I mean, like, I if they would have done that, I would have been like, you know, a lot more excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, they just could have done more. Yeah. You know, they wouldn't have had to. They wouldn't have been, well, for one, they wouldn't have, you know, had like the fucking whatever special effects budget they had. Like, yeah. The worst special effects I've seen this side of, you know, I don't know, the original Power Rangers.
All right, well, where do I start?
You go ahead and give your opinion first.
My biggest problem with the entire film was the cheese. Ridiculously cheesy. Just everywhere. I mean, like, they had to put a love story in there with Chi-Chi, but it was... I think the biggest problem was really the fact that, like, Goku was some nobody who, like, wanted to be somebody. Like, that was his big thing. Like, that just not true to the original character. And I understand, like, when you do a live-action film, you kind of have to... You know, that's based on, like, a fucking ridiculous manga and everything. You just, you know, you have to create something else. But, man, they totally blew it on that. And, you know... Like, I know the anime used to be pretty cheesy, but it was from 1980, so nostalgic
we were just watching it, not 5 minutes ago.
With Japanese audio and voices and English subtitles. So.
I thought it was. I mean, it's understandable that it's cheesy. Pretty much everything that comes from Japan is cheesy, but, you know, Dragon Ball is like the greatest action cartoon probably in the history of action cartoons, honestly.
You know what really did it for me? The fact that he was lighting candles with the Kamehameha.
That was pretty weak.
That was...
I just like I thought that they had that love story and there was like no development in that at all. Like they were like, oh, we're in love.
Yeah. Oh, that was another big problem too. Like that story was just, oh my god. Basically it was as if the writers just got into a room and they're like, all right, we got from point A to point B, and fuck all the stops in the middle. We're just going. And honestly, like they left. There were so many plot holes. Like at the beginning, they talk about Piccolo being trapped and whatnot, and then he's out.
And they don't really explain.
Yeah, and then he's looking for the Dragon Balls, and we have no idea why.
I was a big fan of Bulma. She has that dragon radar when she wasn't even aware that there were other Dragon Balls. She had the one. She was like looking for that one Dragon Ball. She was like, oh, but I made this Dragon Ball radar in case there are more.
Yeah.
Like,
I really think like they were just trying to reach a new audience with it. And
that audience was what, 4-year-olds?
No, I mean like I understand like the studio wants to reach like a new audience of like 12 and 14-year-olds and whatnot, but like I fell in love with it the way it was when I was 12 and or 14, and like why is a 12-year-old or 14-year-old now not gonna fall in love with it? Like you could have kept it the same way it was. Like I didn't even care about them like kind of chopping up the origins and whatnot. The fact that they never said that Goku was a Saiyan, like I didn't care, but they just made him like a big pussy.